In 1995, Continental Circuits was facing a crossroads. As a leading manufacturer of complex circuit boards for technology equipment, they faced growing competition, a need for capital to fuel their growth, and management succession issues. And for years, their chairman had desired liquidity for his investment. An ideal way to raise capital was to sell a portion of the common stock in their company to investors from all over the world. They needed to go public. By selling shares of their company on the NASDAQ over-the-counter market, they stood to raise millions of dollars and establish a public market for Continental's stock. But like every company that goes public, Continental had a lot of preparations to consider. Continental had already hired a highly qualified CPA firm to audit their books and prepare the company for monthly and quarterly financial statements, plus the proper filings. Next, lawyers were brought in to clean up legal matters such as litigation, royalties, the corporate charter, contracts, loans, and ownership issues such as employee stock option plans. Continental also had to review its board of directors to ensure that it had the depth to support a public company. With Continental's affairs in order, their next task was to find an underwriter that could manage their initial public offering, or IPO. Continental Circuits chose A.G. Edwards, one of the country's leading investment banks.
Continental Circuits chose A.G. Edwards as the lead underwriter based on an established relationship that we had over years where we provided advisory services. We also had good distribution, both institutionally and retail, and we have strong technology research that they were looking for.
The investment banker is a leader of the entire IPO process, from leading the due diligence aspects where you confirm the underlying strength of the company, to drafting the registration statement where you present the company from a marketing perspective but also a full disclosure perspective, to the preparation for the roadshow, to the actual execution of the roadshow and ultimate pricing of an IPO.
To ensure that Continental stock could be widely distributed, they hired a co-manager. Continental Circuits and A.G. Edwards chose the Chicago Corporation.
The Chicago Corporation was really a nice complement to A.G. Edwards. It provided additional distribution, both the retail and the institution, and they also had strong technology research.
For any initial public offering of stock, the preparations are a very time-consuming process, usually taking a year or more. A.G. Edwards first had to do an in-depth analysis of Continental Circuits, the semiconductor market, and the high-tech industry in general. This is also known as due diligence.
The due diligence process is a rigorous one because it's tied to the actual creation of the prospectus, which is a legal document. So you have a lot of steps that you and a checklist that you must work through. But as part of that process, an analyst gets involved because we can learn a lot of very good information about the company, its market, and its customers. And so what I like to do as an analyst is be involved in that process, especially when we're talking about interviews with management of the company and also interviews with major customers of the company.
While research was still going on, Continental's working group had to prepare its registration statement for the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. This document accurately disclosed the financial state of the company and included a prospectus which outlined the company's objectives, potential, and even its risk.
The drafting of the registration statement is a very thorough process involving approximately 20 people from both underwriters, counsel for the underwriters in the company, and the company itself. And it's designed to present the company in its most positive light from a marketing standpoint, but also disclose any potential risks of an investment in the company's stock. And it is extremely detail-oriented, line by line, discussing the merits of the language used to describe that company.
Once the registration statement was ready for